Hi everyone, Jean here. How are you guys doing this fine evening? Well, it is very late where I'm at. I was in ceremony all day, and it is after 10 in my neck of the woods, which is mountain time. And anyways, tonight's segment is, well, today, video is really and truly, I refuse to fade away quietly. Yeah, and we're going to get into that in a moment because yeah, it was a long day and it's after hours, but the thing is, I made this commitment to myself, really and truly, to do a video every single day for 100 days. And I believe I may be on 67 day or yeah, somewhere around there. I'm maybe on 67, somewhere around there, which is amazing. I made it here. And I was about to just go and lie down and go to bed, but I thought, you know what? I make a commitment to show up every day, and it doesn't really matter what time of the day as long as I show up. And you might be saying, well, why didn't you do it earlier on in the day? Well, I left my house this morning, really and truly, by 7 a.m. this morning. We left, and our ceremony was 2 hours away. So it's really very, yeah, we left really early and came back very late. And when I come home, I needed to take a shower before I come and say hello to you fine, beautiful people, right? So here I am doing and making and staying with my commitment. And that is part of this. I refuse to fade quietly. Because if I went to bed, then it means that I am not doing what I say that I want to do. And I don't know if you listened to my previous video, but I speak a lot on the fact that when we want to do something, when we want to show up for ourselves, the first thing we really have to do is to show up. And then we actually have to do the work. And then we actually have to be honest with ourselves. So basically, if I didn't show up, and I don't do this work, then I'm not being honest with myself, right? I'm not keeping this 100-day promise that I said that I'm going to do and come on this YouTube street and have a conversation with you all. So here is some of the things that I had to not do right now tonight. Like my hair, I am so sorry. I just had to just get on with it. There is no way I was in the mood to go and get all nice and I just had to get on with it. Because and I also decide to hang out here out in my little office space in my living room so that I can talk to you guys. Normally when it's this hour, I go into my parlor. I go on, I sit on my bed in my parlor and I have a little talk to you guys, and then I turn off and I go straight to bed. But today I'm a bit lazy. Yeah, because it's late and I'm tired. Right? So my ring light is already out here. My my stand is already out here. So I'm like, oh God, you know. Yeah, let me just do it. Let me just show up and do it. And let me just be honest with you guys about me showing up and doing it. And that's what it takes, people. Even today, excuse me, and I don't have any water with me right now. And I'm not going to get up and go get water right now either. Sorry, you guys are going to have to take me like I am because, yeah, I am not going to fade away quietly. You're going to have to take me as I am today. And I am hoping, like, really, that the person, you who is watching this video, you're going to take a chance on yourself. Because if you can take a chance on yourself and be yourself, you would be able to show up for yourself this way. You'll be able to um, do the commitment that you make to yourself. I speak a lot about um, a lot of the times we cannot really, it's very easy for us to do something for someone else. If a friend call us and say, help me with this, we can make a commitment to our friend and we can keep that commitment. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that we don't want to look bad. We want to be liked. We want people to believe that we are a certain way. But the commitment we make to ourselves, with ourselves, we normally negate that. We normally go, oh, I don't have to do it today, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then when tomorrow come, which is the moment, we like, oh, I don't have to do it today, I'm going to do it on Monday. And then when Monday arrives, it's like you're like, oh, I had too much to do today, so I'm going to do it the next day or the next day or the next day. And what I'm sitting here to tell you guys is that really and truly there is no next day. Really, it's all happening today. I'm not going to cut this out of the video because I am not really very equipped yet on editing. And I gotta say something about editing as well. I did promise myself that I was going to learn, so I need to let you know that I actually put a post out on Facebook asking for help and asking for someone to help me to come to my house and help me hands on to do that. And I did already talk to a young man about it, although he's a big marketing guy and blah blah, but the thing is, I have made some steps towards that. So I haven't forgotten that and I haven't put it aside. I am making steps towards, getting that done. And that might take me much longer than the 100 days that I'm here. But it is something that probably I have to do. I decide that I want to do it and I'm going to find a way to do that. But in the meantime, you're going to get me raw, you're going to get me real, you're going to get me honest because that's who I am, that's how I show up in the world, right? So when we make commitment to ourselves and we make promises to ourselves, we have a very challenging time to keep it, and we allow so much obstacles to derail us from keeping the promise we make to ourselves. There is so many things that can take us out from the thing that we really want to do and the thing that we really need to have done, especially when we make the commitment to ourselves. There is so many things that take us out. We have a hard day. We are tired. We have to look after the children. We have to come in and make dinner. It's already 9 o'clock at night. Do you know today? Here is the thing. I got up this morning. Everybody get up early. And today, it was the day that they rolled the clock forward. So, really and truly, I'm already suffering from an hour of lack of sleep because I had to wake up, the regular time. And because the clock is forward, the regular time, I have to wake up the forward time. So, already again, I wake up this morning a whole hour earlier than I normally wake up. And I have to get ready, get all my stuff together. My friend arrived here to pick me up for us to go to our ceremony. We arrive at the ceremony by 9 o'clock because we have a 2 hour drive, and we arrive at the ceremony. And our work when we get to that ceremony is that we have to do the cleaning up in that the where the ceremony is happening. I am at a sweat lodge, but I and the person I go with, our responsibility is to do the cleaning up, to get the fire going, to make sure all the carpet is out, to put on the dough, do all the things, all the walk around. So we spend the whole morning physically working, and then we spend the rest of the day helping, bring the things in, bring the things out, like all day. So the ceremony start from the time we arrive at 9, and we actually didn't finish until around 4:30. And then we have to go up to the house and have a big feast. So by the time we left, by the time we left the ceremony, which is probably around 6 o'clock, and have to drive all the way back to our home, that's another 2 hours. So we basically was driving for 4 hours today. And then when I get home, well, I don't have young children, or, I do have an older kid, but I don't have young children. But when I get home, I get home, I was in ceremony, so I have to come home and shower. And then I have to call my husband because my husband live in the Caribbean and I live in Canada. And then, I have to call him because we have a daily call in every single day. I had to call him this morning before I leave at 7. So I have to call him between getting ready and getting out the door. I have to call him in between that time before I get into my car because I don't want to have a big old conversation in my car to get out with him. Plus, when we get on the highway here, we don't have any service, so I cannot call him on my drive. I cannot call you on my drive. I cannot call anybody because we don't have service, right? And so I have to come home and call him. And usually our conversation would be about an hour and a half. That is his allotted time. I have to make time for that. So then afterwards, I'm like, I just need to lie down and sleep now. And I cannot do that because I have to make this video. Yeah. Do you feel I'm complaining? Yeah, you're damn right. I am complaining. I am going on and on about it. And that's my day. But the thing is, the ceremony that I go to today, that is a commitment I made. Like, I made this commitment 3 years ago. I made a commitment to walk this, what they call the red road, um, in the indigenous culture. And I cannot give you details and a lot about it. It's a spiritual journey. I made this commitment with this indigenous community to go on this 4-year journey with them. And because of that commitment, I cannot negate on that because I made the commitment to the creator. Technically, I didn't make the commitment to specifically the people in that community, but I made it at their place and I have to honor that. So because I made it in their own community, I have to go to that community. I every second Sunday for the whole day, 2 hours there, 2 hours back, in the middle of winter, in the middle of the mountain, driving. Let me tell you something. Yeah, I have to laugh right now because, dude, yeah, if you want to know what it's like driving in the mountains in the middle of winter and it's snowing, today when we left here today, it was raining. It rained the whole time. Like, it rained for the 2 hours that we were driving there today. And we have to do that. I go with someone else. I don't go on my own, which helps a lot going with, having a colleague to go with. I go with my mentor, and I made this commitment 3 years ago. So when I made the commitment, what we in right now, we're in 2026. I made the commitment in 2024. I've been going, I've been in a spiritual community in that kind of a way for many years now, about 8 years. But this is the first time I made a pledge, which is different. I made a pledge. I made it to the creator that I am going to come to this community, um, you know, twice, every second, like twice a month, 2 Sundays, like, so every second Sunday, I go to this, go and do the ceremony. And at the at the end of this month, yeah, the beginning of April, I go into a fast. So we go and do, so throughout this year, I'll tell you how it goes throughout this year. So since the beginning of January, like, I wouldn't go because I've done it the last 2 years, right? But throughout this year, here is how it rolls. So every other Sunday, I would say every other Sunday, we go to the ceremony. And then at Easter, when everybody else is enjoying their cookies and their cream and their eggs and looking for all the bunnies and all of that, I go into a deep fast, 4 days, right? And then in May, I go to a long weekend there where it's like a cleanup weekend. And then in July, beginning of July, I go again in and do, there's another ceremony that happens for another, actually, it's a 4 day ceremony, but this time I have to be there for 8 days. And then in October, I go back in another 4 day ceremony. Well, actually, it's 5 days. It's no longer 4 days. I go in on Wednesday, I come out on Sunday. And this is all happens in the land without phone, without, I am stripped of all everything. And so this is the type of commitment I make. And if I wasn't careful, the way I go through and make sure I'm living into my commitment, and the pledge that I have made, not only to the creator, but in a sense to be in that cohort, in that group of people, it means that I have to show up. And I have to show up, I have to do the work, and guess what? I have to be honest. Like, literally, the same kind of law that I follow is the same kind of a law, in a sense that I have to follow there. You have to show up and you have to do the work. And the truth is, you have to be truthful. You have to be honest. So I live this all the time in my life, but there's a lot of little things that I do need to do. I make commitment to, and I don't, like, it's really hard to do because it's very hard for us to keep the promise we made to ourselves. But this year in particular, I decided that whatever commitment I make for me, whatever promise I made for me, I'm going to see it through. And so, in a way, when I say that, I refuse to fade, refuse to fade quietly into the background. I refuse to do that in the sense that I want to show up and I want to live this life, and I want to live it fully, and I want to live it bravely, and I want to live it courageously, and I want to live it confidently, if that is a word. That's how I want to live it. And that's how I want you to live your life as well. I really want you to live your life fully. And I've always wanted to live my life like that. I remember in 2015 when I published my memoir, Secret of an Island Girl, the year in which I went in and out of a mental asylum. You can find my book on Amazon.ca, which is, Amazon for Canada. So on Amazon.ca, you would find my book. It's called Secret of an Island Girl, the year in which I lost and found my mind. The year that I lost and found my mind, that's what it is. But it's a pocket in my life. And again, you can find my book there if you want to know a little bit more about me. And I'm saying this to say that I remember when I was doing my book signing, what I signed in my book to everyone was live fully. Live your life fully. And now, how do one live their life fully? For many years, even, writing the book, telling people to live fully, I have lived fully in a nice, quiet way. I've always had something to do. I've always had something to look forward to. And I've always had people that I love and people that love me. And that's another tree pillar that you should, and I said you should embody in your life. Always have something to do. That is how you live fully. Always have something to look forward to. That is how you really live into yourself. and always have someone to love or some people to love or some people loving you. And mainly when I come to the part of always having someone to love, I consider that community. It doesn't have to be a man, or it doesn't just have to be a children. It could be a children, it could be a husband, it could be a lover, it could be a side piece, whatever it is. But it can also be a full on community. And I have community. And I want to offer to you to find yourself community if you don't have that. Nobody's an island. I am. Yeah, I used to be an island, right? But there is, yeah, so but there is all these other things that, you may or may not want to do. For me, when I say that I don't, I am not going to fade away. I'm not going to do it quietly because I want to live fully. So if you say to yourself, if you are that girl, you are that person that, I don't know, you want to run a marathon, right? And you have never run before. You're not just going to get up one day and go, oh, I'm going running a marathon, and then you go and run that marathon on the same day. You would not make it. Like, you just wouldn't. I can tell you that now. I have run one. Well, I've run a half a marathon, and I would never run a full marathon. It's ridiculous. It's like when you finish running, you're like, I'm dead. I don't want to do it any. I think, and I used to run for years. Like, I used to run for years before I went and run the half a marathon, and that almost killed me. So, that's a lot of miles, lots. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But for instance, my point is you want to get up and take the step to do it. Be the person you say that you want to be. You want to be in service, be that person and be that person loud. Be the person you say you want to be. For me, I want to be the woman who shows up for my friend. I want to be the woman who is in service to others. So be like, fully walk into that space. Remind yourself every day, I want to be that person in service. I want to be that person, if it's service. But it could be marathon, it could be you want to run, you want to become stronger. I am in the third act of my life, and I love saying that. Jane Fonda, she's one of my favorite people because she has been a person that reinvent herself on many levels and many times in life. And I think the book that I've read from Jane Fonda, she wrote that book when she was around 65 or maybe 70. She's in her 80s now, almost the same age as my mother, really. And I am so proud of that gal, both of them, Jane Fonda and my mother. Another person that I feel that who has been living their life fully. And yes, don't come for me when I say that. I love Oprah because without Oprah, I would not be this chick sitting here. I'm looking at Oprah. She's like 70 years now. And damn it, Oprah look like she's a hot young chick. And I know that she didn't do any facelift, or maybe she do get Botox, or maybe, she have a special thing she does on her face. And yes, she's full of money and she can be that person. But my point is, Oprah lived her whole life wanting to be the size that she finally living into right now. Do you know that that is an accomplishment of her dreams? She lived her whole life towards that person that she is today. And she have always been that person, but she wanted to be that person in the body that she have always feel she belong in. And now she's doing it. When I see her, it's inspirational to me, you know, because she's, yes, I'm going to say she has been the person that inspired me. She have been the woman that motivated me. She have been all of that. She has been my mother, my sister, my best friend. And I have never really, I've actually made it to her show, and I've seen her twice in person. I haven't met her to speak to her, but my point I'm trying to make about that is that when I just came to this country 100 years ago, and when Oprah, I think she started her show in 1993, I think I started watching. I have never had a black role model. I have never had, I'm from a small island, Grenada, and there was no one there motivating me or inspiring me or telling me that I can be a person that I want to be. And I've always wanted to kind of be like Oprah, and it's never going to happen because she's already taken. I've always wanted to be Wayne Dyer, and Wayne Dyer is a white man and he's already dead. So I cannot be him either. And there's a whole story about me wanting to be Wayne Dyer, but I'm not. I'm just little old Gene Roberts over here. But this little old Gene Roberts made a promise, made a commitment to come and chat with you every single day or chat with my own self, because who knows, I'm just sitting in an empty room. I don't know if you're looking at me, but if you are, I want to tell you, good on you, because this channel, this Gene Roberts is here to show up raw, is here to show up in her courage, is here to show up confident for you, is here to show up doing the thing, walking a walk, talking a talk. I want to do YouTube. And whether or not this becomes successful in your mind, every single video I do is a success to me, because it took me since 2015 or 2013 when I opened this channel, and I only now start to sit here and talk to this. Do you know what it took? Because I got to tell you, there is so much layers that I had to go through to even begin to sit here. But the most important layer, the most important thing that I really recognize and I understand and I come to know is that I can only be me. And if ever I'm waiting to be younger, be prettier, be taller, be thinner, be with freaking white pearly teeth, which is still, they're running around with all false teeth in their mouth like myself, but whatever. To have the best hair, to have the best skin, to have the best clothing. If I was waiting, if I was continue, because for many years I was waiting, to turn into a butterfly. But I realize, I probably have turned into that butterfly. However, I can only be me. I can only do me. I stumble my words. I do run on here and there. I can There are times when my pronunciation, as you can hear, is could be horrible. Um yeah, and I probably say a lot. I don't know. The point is, when I actually pull all those masses off, all of them, and I realize I may not be as eloquent as you are because I have an accent, and I realize there is certain things I may not know. I get that. But I got to tell you, when it comes to wisdom, I am loaded. When it comes to overcoming obstacle, I am friggin' loaded. When it comes to experience at 63, I am like, whoa, really, come and talk to me, call me, message me, get to know me. Because honestly, guys, you can only be yourself. And no matter what I do, I would not have a different accent. Well, maybe I can get a voice coach, and, be in the movies and do like an actor, but I'm not an actor. And I'm not going to have a voice coach. I'm not going to have someone to teach me to speak or to have a different accent. Well, you know what? I have said enough. I have run on. You get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. All that I'm saying is that I had to remove a lot of my mask so that I can sit here and have this conversation, I guess, with myself, because again, I don't know if you're there watching, but I hope you are. So, refuse to fade away quietly. Because I think the biggest thing that hold us back, because at the end of the day, at the end of the story, the thing that hold me back the most is what I thought other people would be thinking of me. Yeah. And that could be crippling until we die, like big time. But I actually come to a space in my life where I realize that I don't know if I give a frack. I don't give a frack. Not anymore. And you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Because they're going to think if they want to, and they're going to say if they want to. I have no control over that. And that's what I'm learning, the biggest thing I'm learning in life. I do not have control over that. So I give you permission to judge me if you like to. Go ahead, go to town, have at it. I can, excuse me, I can honestly tell you, I have been my own judge and jury for many years. I almost want to tell you this one story before I left. When I was doing my spiritual, when I just began my spiritual journey and I was at the ashram, there was this one project that we have to do because I did an entire 4 month self-development program at this ashram. And one of the our series or our session or our program, part of the program was, we did all these different series, and one part of our series was called the life seal. I totally forget about the life seal. And the life seal is this where they give you an entire big pieces of paper, the roll of paper, they roll it out, put it up, and you go and you draw your life on that. And I don't know, they make you draw these things, right? And you draw your life on it. And then you have to do a commentary on what you draw. And I have to go back into the life seals because I tell you, subconsciously, when you put the things on paper that you think your life is, and then you go and you do a commentary on it, you dissect it, you would be amazed what you see. And what I got, one of my life seals, one of my fingers was just like that. It was just, and what I came to realize is that I was my judge and my jury. I was judging myself harshly. And I've done that for many years. And I recognize when I judge others, I'm actually judging myself. So I just stop judging myself. That way I don't even have to judge you because I just decide, oh, but I mean, I still do it in small doses. And then I'm aware that I'm doing it. So it's really different than when I wasn't aware that I'm doing it. If I'm judging you, I'm aware that I'm judging you. And then I'm just going to stop and say, forgive me for trespassing because I think I'm trespassing against you. And I want to forgive you for trespassing against me. Anyway, guys, let's refuse to fail. Let's refuse to fade, not fail, but to fade quietly in the background. Let's refuse to do that. Let's show up and be the queen that we are. And the more that I think about it, today is actually International Woman Day. Wear your crown, wear your crown, wear your crown. Like, just wear your crown, okay? Be pretty, be gorgeous, be beautiful, be sweet. Tell yourself that you are. And maybe one day you'll believe it. Thank you for just hanging out here with me and listening to me rant and rave. What am I going to say? Do less and be more of who you are. Also, subscribe because there is so much more amazing content coming your way. You're going to want to hit me up. So subscribe to my channel. Did you hear the mistake I make? I make a lot of those. And like my channel because this, my friend, this is my retirement gig and I want you to be part of it. And it doesn't matter what age you are, you're going to learn something. Just listen to me. Love you guys. Have a good day.